Welcome back to Powerhouse. Today we're at this Habitat for Humanity home to show that you can still keep energy efficiency in mind and save money in the end. This is Kevin Frisbee with Freedom Foam Insulators. And Kevin, you were responsible for the insulation on this project. Tell us what type of insulation you chose to use.
Oh, we used they spec'd out a half-pound open cell foam, so we used our half-pound open cell spray-on foam for the home insulation.
Now, what is open cell foam insulation?
It's kind of like a cushion in your truck seat or your couch or your car. It's soft.
It is soft.
And it's also, you can see the ringlets in it or whatever, where the cells have blown open.
Now, what would closed cell foam look like?
And we also have some closed cell foam here. It's a dense foam. It's completely closed. It's exactly what it says it is. It doesn't let any moisture come through. And it's kind of like what you get at your home store or your local lumber yard, like your pink or blue board, except for it's denser, yet it's harder.
Okay, but you opted to use this type.
Yes, we use the open cell foam in the walls, and it's much more cost effective for the homeowner, and it does a really good job with wood structures.
What are the most important places to insulate in a home?
In a home, we usually insulate the rim joist, which is one of the highest energy loss in a home, in the basement, where your foundation, where your floor sits on top of your foundation. Then we done the walls in this home, and also done the roof deck.
All right, what's the R value that you used?
They spec'd out 5.5 inches of insulation. So we got an R22 in the walls and also in the roof deck on this home. And what that translates to is if you had an R44 glass or cellulose, the R22 of foam will actually outperform it.
High performance. Okay, explain the visual aid that you brought with you today.
What we got is we got a box here, and this is actually showing you what the heat is in the home, is what it's simulating, and then we're showing the heat losses through the insulation of all the different types, like your fiberglass, your cellulose, and then we're showing you the foam and showing you also the air loss. And if you're losing air, you're also losing heat.
Right, well, it looks like this was a good option for this home, obviously. How does that translate into monthly energy savings for the homeowner?
This house will heat and cool for a house approximately half its size. They were also able to cut their HVAC requirements by about 30 to 40%. And utility bills would be about 50% less. Tell
us about the attic insulation and not only the attic insulation, but the ductwork that runs through the attic.
What we done was we completely enveloped the home. There's no ventilation in the attic in this home. We actually run up the roof deck instead of on the ceiling like they do with normal insulation. What that does is makes your attic a semi-conditioned space. It's operating within 5 to 8 degrees of whatever the inside temperature of the house is. Instead of in a normal home, in the extreme portions of the year, in the wintertime, you're trying to maintain 70 degrees and it could be 0 in the attic, and in the summertime it could be 140. So you're operating normally in a normal home 70-degree temperature differences in what you are with foam, which obviously if you sit there and don't, if you're operating within 5 to 8 degrees, your heating and cooling system obviously doesn't have to work as hard to keep the home at the comfortable level you want to know.
Right, that's really smart. What was the overall cost for this project?
The overall cost was roughly, on this small home here, was roughly $4,200, and our supplier, which was Geico Western, they sat there and donated their portion of it.
Oh, that's great. And what's the time for the payback on that investment?
The payback on a home like this, a properly fiberglass home, the payback between it and doing a foam home is usually about 3 years by the time you get done with the energy savings.
That's great, and I'm sure that these homeowners will love this home and be here much longer than 3 years, and we'll see that investment. Thanks so much. If you'd like more information about every type of insulation as well as Rvalue, visit our website at powerhousetv.com.